What's up, my people? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Things We Learned. Nigeria 4, Gabon 1. So, amazing victory for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The World Cup qualifiers and the semi-final of the playoff of the World Cup qualifiers. So, guys, a lot of talking points in this game, really. A lot of things that are good signs. A lot of things that are not so good signs. A lot of things that should have happened that happened later in the game. A lot of things that we do not capitalize on as a team. So, guys, let's jump into the analysis of this game. First and foremost, I felt that, and you guys was evident to see that for the first 25-30 minutes of that game, in the first half of that match, our quality was there. When you look at the way we controlled the game in that first 25-30 minutes of that match, you could see that the quality of Nigeria, the Super Eagles, was clearly evident in that match. And I think that even throughout the game, you could still sense the quality of the Nigerian side. You could still sense the quality of the Super Eagles. But I think that as the game, there was a sign at the beginning of the game. In between the game, everything went the way it went. There was some structureless football being played, which I think, for me, is not a new thing when you watch the Super Eagles. A lot of structureless kind of football. But I think at the end, the quality of the Super Eagles became more evident. It became more evident. And I think that was even the differentiating thing in this game, because of not just the quality of the players, but also the quality of, and the durability of the players, the experience of the players, the desire of the players, and that made that difference. So let's jump right into it. I think, as I said, after the first 25 to 30 minutes of that game, we lost control. We lost balance. There were a lot of structureless football. At certain points, even in the first half, more evidence in the first half of that game, we were only playing in two phases of the game. So Nigeria was playing in the defense. We were playing in the attack, but the midfield was literally non-existent in terms of the way we play, in terms of our goalkeeper at certain moments taking certain decisions that were wrong decisions in terms of kicking it long at certain moments where the decision would be to try and build up from the back or something. There's certain decisions that he made, like, he could have made it better. And at that moment, after we lost that balance, after we lost that control that we had in the first 25-30 minutes, we were just playing in two phases of the game. The defense and the attack. The midfield was like as if the team divided themselves. Some people are in defense, and that's the way I saw it. Some people are in defense, some people are in the attack, and they said, let's just leave the midfield there. And inshallah, anything that happens there happens. And I think that was really sad to see. Really sad to see. And I felt that at certain moments in the game also we were too ambitious in our passing. Yes, I understand the fact that we want to line breaking passes and the likes, but at certain moments the best option would have been to pass it to the sides. At least regain control. And I don't know what the coach told them, but I think the way I saw it, I was like, you don't need to try this ambitious pass. Yes, I understand you want to score. I understand that it's a game we have to win and everything. I get that. But there are certain moments where the best option would have been to pass it to the sides and at least regain control. At that moment, we're too anxious. Our midfielders were too anxious. The defenders were too anxious. The keeper was too anxious. And at certain moments, we tried the ambitious passes and we kept losing the ball. And I think we have to be very careful because, as I said earlier, the quality of Gabon, the gap is there. The gap is there. But the fact is, if you meet a team that is more stronger than you and you play the way you play today, the Super Eagles play the way they play today, they will hurt us. And I think they will hurt us because we're too ambitious, we're too quick with our passing. And we tried a lot of risky things and it gave those guys a lot of transition. And I think the more the Gabon team started getting that transition moments, they started getting belief. And that's why I said that at certain moments in the game, in the second half, part of the first half and the second half, they started believing. And that's one of the things, that was one of the worst things you want to do to a team that you have that great ability over. You don't want to give them hope to start believing. And I felt the Super Eagles gave them hope to start believing that something could be going on, something could happen. And you can see it led to the goal. It led to the goal that they scored. But ultimately, we got back into the game and the likes. So another thing I want to say, which is, I know Osimhen is quite clear. I think today is just like saying the good and bad side of Victor Osimhen in terms of the number of chances he lost. I think the most painful one for me, I don't know about you, was the one at the last chance of the normal time, it was like, at least let's even see that the keeper punched the ball, right? Let's even see that the keeper punched the ball. But Osimhen is a quality player. And one thing about quality players is, for as long as you keep them on the pitch, they will end up delivering. Even though, yes, we know that we don't want, because for me, I felt the game should have been buried early enough. And I know you guys have that feeling also. The fact is, the quality is there to bury that game early enough. We didn't need to play extra time. And the reason why it was extra time wasn't necessarily because what do you call it? Not necessarily because we were that good or something. The fact is that the reason why that game got to the extra time was because Gabon was poor. If it was a very, very good team, we would have been punished. And I feel that we don't need to make things difficult for ourselves. That game did not need to go to extra time. It was clear and evident. But as usual, the Super Eagles, as usual, Nigeria, we like to make everything difficult. Qualification has to be difficult. To win a game has to be difficult. And we are used to that. So I felt we shouldn't have made it that difficult for ourselves. But in the extra time, especially for me, the first extra time period, I think the quality began to show more. The gap began to show, not just in terms of the individuals, which is very, very important, because when you look at the 2 goals that were scored in that first extra time, they are textbook goals in terms of the right movement into space, the right delivery at the right time, and the right finish. The right pass, the right assist, the right finish. And I think it was just, for me, it was a beauty to see, because it was at the right time. And when you're watching the game and you see the player moving to the space, you got the 2 goals were like players moving to the space, especially the Ndidi movement into the space, and you're like, now, and the right pass, the right moment, and the right finish from the player. Osimhen scored one, and the other guy scored. So for me, it was really, really amazing to see. Well executed pass and well executed finish. I think that quality showed. The stamina, the ability, and the endurance really showed. I felt that when I analyzed, I was watching, I said the spine of Gabon cannot withstand the spine of the Super Eagles in the extra time. For me, that was quite clear. They were weak, really. They were weak. The spine had gone, and that's why you could see that, those goals came on board. Even the 4th goal, you could also see it was a moment of, I think it was a player on the floor. They were gone. I think they were gone. And I think that shows the quality of the Super Eagles. But the fact is, we don't want to let it go late like this. So it's something that we need to put in our game in terms of, finishing the game very early enough. But for me, I'm happy, as all the Nigerians are happy about the game. I felt, as I said, we could have done a lot of things better. But now we look at, the final. We look at who wins that game and who we are going to face. So, guys, these are my opinions on the Nigeria versus Gabon game. Nigeria 4, Gabon 1. As usual, as we said, it's a difficult, and that's how we like our things. We like to make it difficult. So it was difficult as usual. So, guys, let me have your opinion on this game, on this match. What do you think happened in that game that you did not like? What do you think we should improve upon? Drop it in the comment section and let's have that discussion. This is Vertical Football. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to share this video. Until we see you next time. Bye.